ACHR is in a massive spot right now, guys. Seeing that stock price has broken out of this very clear bull flag, printed over the last few months, pushing up, pulling back into this very obvious bullish pennant structure. We're seeing a lot of clues that a big move could occur soon. That being said, my name's Dylan from Dylan's Trades. We're going to get into this technical analysis breakdown, starting over on the weekly analysis. So on the weekly analysis, we keep seeing a recurring trend, which leads to massive movements in price action of multiple hundreds of percent, or at the least a 70, 80% movement in stock price, which is very, very measurable, guys. Right, we've seen a recurring trend of stock price getting very, very tight, within consolidation having to clear ascending or descending support. Stock price nice below, volatility increases, volume pumps up, a harsh movement down. Once again, another tight consolidation on this ascending support, and you see a 60% move down in stock price. These channels have continued to continue, guys, stemming all the way back from 2021. We entered this multi-year, really about a year consolidation. We broke over the top once again with a volume increase, leading to a 80% movement within price action. Once again, guys, we enter another consolidation, breaking over the top. Notice that when we break out, this is a great example. Stock price volume is slowly decreasing amongst this consolidation, right? We get the breakup over the top. If we take a vertical line, you get a great representation of that volume increase within this volume profile, guys. Stock price does move up a measurable amount once again, right? 150% in price action. What are we working with now, guys? We're with the same structure, a nice consolidation, stemming all the way back from really, December 2024. So we're working with about a 7-month consolidation, guys. And what is notable is that we have a nice movement up to lead this, which makes this consolidation that much more bullish. So with that being said, guys, we have seen at a peak about a 46, 47% move in price action. So historically, amongst this trend, even in these baby consolidation and break of these area of value, we've seen bigger movements, right? So this would be breaking the normality to not see an explosive price action movement to these 16, 17, $18 levels. That's first and foremost. We don't want to just lead our analysis based off that. And there's a lot of different factors, guys, but something notable is that the volume is very, very intense, guys. So that does look good. So with that being said, we are breaking this area value to the upside. Stock price looks good, right? And the last thing we really want to take into fact is that we are within a cup and handle, which makes this breakout that much more clean. Stock price knife down around that rejection of the 1055 level. We knife all the way down, 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 down. Buyer step back up, forming the end of this cup-like structure, entering that consolidation-like phase, breaking over the top. Once again, guys, with volume confirmation. Notice how the volume is decreasing, 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 and a big bar of volume. So obviously, as of now, we've given up a good amount of those gains. It's always nice to see these big wide bars. They don't always lead to an immediate flip in price action moving up. It's not always the case, guys, but it is good to see these, as these signify a serious wave of buyers, making, obviously, in a simple term, a massive movement up with little to no pullback, just being a pullback at 1393 down to 1337. So since then, guys, we have pulled back around roughly to that area value where we did get the initial breakout. Right, stock price had a big move up, started to pull down. We get the bounce near this, right around this level. And now we tried to push back up. Sellers pushed it back down with a big wide bar with a pretty nasty wick on top and a very tight candle currently forming. So we do see 1, 2, and 3, 4 weeks price action percenting up. So we do this ascending support. We'll keep an eye on it, guys. But, the number one thing we really want to take away from the weekly, we're breaking out of one of these big structures. We've seen the volume upside. Right, we are kind of coming back 180. The sellers are doing a pretty decent job, but really, guys, you're really risking these lows for all these highs. Really simple stuff, guys. So although we quite haven't gotten the bounce as of yet, pulling back to this big moment, it gives a lot of smart money and just money in general, an area to step back in within the stock to go up higher, as this historically has been a nice area, right? Hence these wicks on the weekly analysis. Looking pretty nice, guys. Definitely seeing these defended by the buyers. With that being said, so we got everything we needed. Let's get this price prediction and target for this cup and handle structure. So if we get a movement, guys, from the bottom of this cup, right around this level to the neckline being that 1055 area, we see a 462% movement within price action. So we'll get around a 231 231% movement, about a 50% retraction within that. And if we take this trend line, guys, to the breakout level, this offers a very, very great price target. You see how we exactly topped out to that level. This is a little bit of tidbit, a little bit of game for you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, but you'll see a lot of guys taking the full trend line. It's not as accurate, guys, if you take half. This works for almost every single structure. But so keep that in mind, guys. So we do feel 1393, that $14 range is a very, very effective price target, right? It is the most realistic, the first one where stock price can meet, as we've seen in knife down, right? You can get to these upper levels with all this data, right? We have seen these big movements up, the most recent one leading since the breakout to a 150% peak. So, there definitely is an argument, guys. We'd push $15, $20 eventually. But as of now, stock price is set to come up, curl up, and retest these highs at 1393. But with that being said, we have the full scope macro perspective. That's what the weekly analysis is for. So let's jump into the daily to get a little bit more of the medium term analysis. Currently, guys, ACHR is in a very, very interesting spot. Being that we have a very, very obvious previous ascending support, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 days and 5 days hugging along this trend line, guys, being pretty disciplined, kind of chopping up in this, consolidation like factor. We came down one more time and boom, off goes the races, guys. So we're chilling on the same trend line. It's continued to play up, being 1, 2, and 3 more touch points, 4, 5, 6, 7, guys. So in combined, we have over 10 touch points just within the last month and a half or so of trading. So this is a very, very strong area. Currently, stock price is down 2.39% in after hours. This is why trading is very, very, it can be very, very simple but complex, right? We're seeing the Iran and US situation. Typically, we don't mention news, but this is very important, right? A lot of stuff is gap down in the after hours as of now, or not the after hours, night, sorry. So if we take a 2.34% movement down, currently we are hanging around that 975 level. And for the bulls, you want to see $10 being defended. Not only is this a psychological level, $7.50, $5, $2.50, $10, $12.50, $15. These psychological hard numbers. But once $10 is flushed hard, we will be dropping this daily area value. And this can lead to a pullback back down to these $9 levels, which was the previous breakout level where stock price had a lot of trouble, a lot of accumulation, just a lot of price action movement and respect amongst this level. So, as of now, right, if we open lower than that, you're going to want to see the bulls squeeze stock price up and reclaim this channel. So if stock price does open up, right, within the gap down, keep an eye on $10, guys. Preferably you want to get over that. With that being said, though, if we hold $10 and break over 10.55, we do have this gap to fill at that 11.72, which has been also another big level. So to see that gap fill at that big resistance where in the past we had some trouble in this area, that's an even more solidified area. So definitely if we can get over the top of this micro analysis range, it's very likely we're going to push up, fill this gap, maybe not break out quite yet, but we'll at least test this trend line, if not come down and continue to form, likely eventually getting the breakout, right? We got the weekly analysis, the whole scope analysis. We have a lot of things working in the bulls' favor. So with the broad scope analysis, and seeing this crescendo up, despite seeing lower highs, definitely got to be bullish as far as the current candle structure. Yes, we do acknowledge that current news and derivatives situation can perhaps force stock to pull back and bounce here. We will go over that live if it does happen. But as of now, we're sitting very, very tight on this trend line with a couple of bucks to the upside. So straight away, guys, if news doesn't affect us too much, you're very likely to get the bounce. I mean, we've seen it for 1 day, 2 day, 3, 4, 5, just really, really consistent. And ACHR is in a very nice dip buying opportunity where guys love when you get the nice breakout and then the retest. Not an exact break and retest, but you're roughly in this area, and smart money really likes to buy within these regions, guys. So right away, price is in a daily area of value. With that being said, let's go move over to the hourly. Wrap this up just with a little bit more of a short-term perspective on the stock. ACHR is a very, very volatile stock, guys, and it does offer a lot of short-term trading momentum, right? We continue to see this time and time again. We see the quick breakout of this breakout level. We see a tight pinch in price action, roughly around 1 day or so until we move from around that 1140 level, pushing up to 1392. A quick movement in price action from the breakup of 20%. Right, we see another one of these structures being formed, not quite getting to the end of it, but we break down from that 1055 resistance and this ascending trend line. It's what we call a double padded support, guys, where two supports meet coincidentally. We break beneath that, pushing down to about 950, getting the bounce, getting another one of these structures, getting a baby move up. We've started to form out that pattern and then gapping down. What is stock price doing right now? Well, we mentioned on the daily, we are sitting right on this ascending support within this daily pennant, which is forming. And we're currently sitting on that, forming another one of these structures. So once again, guys, this is really a double padded support situation. We're sitting on that psychological $10 level with this ascending support and this pennant structure, guys. It's a pretty clean pennant. You know, a lot of these newer traders too won't see this because they'll see these two wicks on the top and they think this won't be validated. Guys, that's not how it works. Really, in these unorthodox kind of structures, they offer the most upside. So right away, we know that if we get the strong break over the top, really being that 1025, we should be able to easily move up, test 1055. If broken, move up to fill this gap around that 1170. But if we drop hard from this $10 level, you know, we have been in a very tight pinch over the last 4 days on this area of value. So it should be the momentum to push stock price down to this $9 level, which, centering back to the daily, guys, was this very critical level, guys. You know, we held on it very, very patiently, moved back up, came down, tried to hold it, knife beneath, break, retest, flush, retest again, flush, right? Retest, confluence, confluence, confluence. Day we close over it, boom. So, you know, if we do pull back to this level, right, working on the weekly, we're still breaking out of this range, right? This area value where in the past we've gotten these really nice breakouts of big fractal movements, guys. So, you know, if we pull back, this does offer a very, very good risk reward for new buyers within the market. Typically, you see big money too sitting on the sidelines when the hype kind of dies down and get a really, really nice position there. So, you know, it wouldn't be the nicest thing to invalidate this trend line. We should easily be able to retest this breakout level if we do, right? But with that being said, as long as $9 holds in this rough region, we can definitely use this as a low point to continue to grind up higher. And really anything over $9, guys, from a long-term perspective, you gotta love it as a Archer Aviation investor, trader, etc. So with that being said, this analysis is a little bit more complex, being that we have the whole Iran and US situation, right? We would be a lot more bullish on this if the stock price wasn't gapping down in the night hours, as a lot of stuff is, guys. If we take this and drag this out, you really get a great representation. We got a lot of stuff down in the after hours. So it changes a lot, guys, as you know, ACHR is on this big area value point, but look on the longer time frames, even if we do flush hard and come down to $9, stock price can get a bounce there and eventually come up and eventually grind back to these higher levels. So with that being said, we'll cover this live as it transpires. If you found any value in the video, consider liking, subscribing, guys. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good day. Take care, trade smart, and peace.